Now it is, okay. How about that? Is that better? No, I had hit it. Yeah, okay. All right, very good. You are welcome. I want to welcome everybody. It's great to see a great turnout. This is so exciting. You're welcome to join me in a prayer. Dear God, we come tonight praising you. We are thankful for the young adults and the adults we'll honor here tonight. We ask for your continued blessings on them. I ask you open our hearts and minds to what is discussed on our agenda tonight and give counsel the guidance and discernment as we do the business of the city. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a roll call starting from my left.
Eric Presnell.
David McGee.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Kevin Toole.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the regular city council meeting minutes of June the 6th, 2022? Hearing none, they stand approved as distributed. Okay, this is a fun part of this job. So what we're going to do is we have two proclamations, and I'm going to invite a number of dignitaries down, and then I'm going to invite the young adults down. And what I'm going to have council do is, if y'all would follow me around, I'm going to let y'all sit in the front row so you can see us reading the proclamation, and then afterwards, all the teams can shake your hand as they leave the building. How's that? Okay, so y'all want to come around front. Okay. I'm going to ask a few folks down that I see Principal John Murphy. You'd like to come down, sir? Come on down. I know, you can do it down here. I'd like our school board representative, Dr. Patricia Hanks. I know she's here. Come on down, young lady. I'm not sure if King Lawrence, superintendent, is here. Okay, not. And then we'll start off with is Coach James Gore. Coach, come on down. And is our state champion of the high jump in track and field, Mr. Mackay Bosket here? Okay. Okay. You know what I want to do? We're going to hold off on Mackay. So James, go sit down. Y'all get to stay up here, okay? We're going to do this. All right, so I'm going to hold off on that for them. Coach Gilstrap, I'm going to ask you, as well any of your assistant coaches who are here, if you would come down. That's Coaches Aaron Fittery, Kelsey Jones, Kyle Smith, Dewan Wiley, and Tim Woodward. If any of y'all are here, y'all come right there. You come up here on the dais, yeah, with me. Okay. And then I'd like all of the incredible state champion softball girls teams. Y'all come on down if you're here. You got your T-shirts and got your gold medal. That's awesome. The first thing I'm going to give you is in this folder, Coach Gilstrap will actually give you a written proclamation for each of you, okay, that I'm going to read. So you can do that later. So let me kind of read this to you. First of all, if I read a proclamation, just want to let y'all know, just so you understand, in a town like North Augusta, if you don't already know, the pride this community feels based on what y'all did. Now, you girls did the hard work. Y'all heavy lifting. Y'all won on the field. But I think the reason so many folks in this community are prideful, feel proud for this victory, because of how they feel they impact you some way. The coaches, your parents, goodness gracious, I can imagine all the effort and time they have been supporting you. Your administration, all the other students and friends at the high school. My guess is only about 6 of y'all here, but my guess is most of y'all at some point probably played in the Parks and Rec League in softball. So we kind of take a little pride here at the city. Our Parks and Rec, Rick Meyer and Bob Brooks, that what they have put in place was helpful. So you do have a community that is very much excited and proud of each of y'all, because you've done something that very few people ever have the privilege to earn, and you did it. So with that being said, the proclamation says, whereas the North Augusta High School girls softball team went undefeated in their region play and were 33-2 overall during their 2022 season. And whereas this outstanding team had the most wins, the longest winning streak at 23, the most home runs, the most singles and walks, and most strikeouts by a pitcher in a single season in school history. And whereas this talented group of young women includes 6 all-region players, the region player of the year, 3 all-state players, 2 North-South all-star game players, and the 4A player of the year. And I'm going to read all of the names, even though they're all on here. The middle schoolers were Ayla Holmes, Madeline Tigert. The sophomores were Leanne Gilbert, Sarah Henry, Taylor Scott, Jordan Wiley. The juniors, Blakely Holton, Ansley Hooks, Rue Howell, Liz Levins, Jordan Tolan. And the seniors were Cadence Adams, Audrey Bates, Caitlin Cochran, Annabelle Hurst, Hayden Hutto, and Nevaeh Ross. How was that? Do that right? Okay. Whereas the team was led by Coach Craig Gilstrap, and the second coaches Aaron Fittery, Kelsey Jones, Kyle Smith, Ron Wiley, and Tim Woodward. And whereas these young women not only brought home the Class 4A state softball championship for their school for the first time in school history, but served as ambassadors for the city of North Augusta as they played throughout the season. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the city of North Augusta, do hereby respectfully request that the citizens of North Augusta join me in celebrating and honoring North Augusta High School girls softball team as a 2022 South Carolina Class 4A state champions, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be affixed this 20th day of June 2022. Let's give them a round of applause. Woo! Coach, good job. Good job, Coach. Okay, what we'd like to have you do is, if you would, do you want to take, you've already taken pictures? You good? Okay. So our city council, if you would stand, and if you would, yeah. Wow. Are there any awards left? So what I do, kind of, you would go around and in a line, y'all just follow her around, and each council would love to shake your hand and congratulate you, and then y'all can stay or you can walk out that door, however you want to do it. So thank y'all again for everything. Yeah. But go right here where Kevin is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Y'all stay up here. You two, after you go through. You can go through. Dr. Hanks, come on back up. Yep. You and John. Yep. All right. We got one more here. You got to be impressed. He's working hard, and then he comes over. I would like to ask Coach James Gore, and then our state champion of the high jump and track and field, Mr. Makai Bosket. Woo! Good morning, Makai. Congratulations, young man. Coach, good to see you. Kyle, there's 2 questions I have for you. How high did you jump? 6'4". How tall are you? 16. All right, so the question is, you jumped 6'4", which is a state record. Did you know you had gold after the first jump? Because you went on the first jump, right? So you felt good about it, or you thought you could go higher?
I was kind of nervous.
How high did you jump again?
6'4".
6'4". Somebody had the microphone. So you felt on your first jump you had a good chance for it, or you weren't sure?
I've been doing it at practice, so I practiced it.
You take off the last two jumps?
Yeah, I did.
You knew you had it, did okay. All right, so Coach, here is Makai's proclamation for him personally. So I'd like to read this to y'all. Whereas Makai Bosket began his high school athletic career playing football at North Augusta High School, but experienced a major injury during his sophomore season. And whereas while seeking to get the most of his high school athletic career, and with the encouragement of Coach James Core, Makai decided to give track and field a try. And whereas after committing 5 days a week for 4 months to instruction, practice, and competition in the high jump, Makai qualified at the region, lower state, and then the 4A state championship level. And whereas while maturing mentally, physically, and emotionally, fighting through the adversity of his injury and even a 4-hour weather delay in the middle of the state championship, all of Makai Bosket's focus, determination, and character growth culminated in his clearing a jump at a height he had never reached before on his first attempt to win the state championship. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the City of North Augusta, do hereby respectfully request that the citizens of North Augusta join me in celebrating and honoring Makai Bosket as a 2022 South Carolina Class 4A track and field high jump state champion, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of this city of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be affixed this 20th day of June 2022. Let's give him a round of applause. Woo! There you go. Thank you, young man. Proud of you. So same thing, I'm going to ask you to go around and say the city council wants to meet you. You're a celebrity. Thank you, sir. Y'all know you got one more. I'm going to let y'all say it for the retirement. Okay, this is another important time, and I'd like Mr. Mark Vines, if he would come down. Anybody with you, Mark? Come on down. How you doing? Come on in, sir. One more step. Let me tell you about this gentleman. Mark started his career with the city on February the 20th, 2008, within the sanitation department as a shop supervisor. During Mark's 14-year tenure for the city, he had the ability to transition a majority of the city's large truck repairs from being outsourced by constructing a comprehensive shop which gave us the necessary tools and skills to conduct major in-house repairs. This change enabled the city to conduct repairs more cost-effectively and with quicker turnaround, so service to our citizens could continue with minimal impact. Mark, this is a big deal, okay? You're one of those people, and this is about the third time we've met, you just said, well, you're not one of those people who just said we always have done it this way. No, you came in and said we can do it better. And if so, let's put a place how to do it. And that's an attitude that saved us a lot of money over the years. And that's just an example of the kind of person you are. You figure out how to make things happen. And that impresses me. So thank you for that. And Mark, not only has he been an outstanding employee, but he was a great mentor for his peers and was exceptional in training new mechanics so we can maintain our level of service to citizens of North Augusta. So Mark, I've got a plaque here. It says, North Augusta, South Carolina, presenting Mark A. Vines with grateful appreciation for your outstanding leadership and service to the city of North Augusta, South Carolina, January the 20th, 2008 through January 21st, 2002, by the mayor and city council today, June the 20th, 2022. So we're going to miss you, young man. Enjoy your retirement. You've earned it. And we thank you for everything you've done over the last 14 years. Let's give him a round of applause. Council would like to thank you, too. Now y'all get on back there. Time to put you to work. All right. How do you like that view? Okay. All right, we're going to move into item 7. Bear with me here. Annexation, unfinished business, ordinance number 2022-08 to change the corporate limits of the city of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting annexation by the landowners and annexing plus or minus 43.9 acres of property located on West Martintown Road and owned by Adams Brothers Properties LLC. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on second reading? Ms. Carpenter, Mr. Fresnel, anything you'd like to add to this, Ms. Moody?
I don't have anything additional to add, just a reminder that these lots will be R7 small lot, single-family residential.
Okay, any citizen input? Yes, sir. Come on down. What I ask you to do is Ms. Lamar will give you a microphone. I don't have a podium for you. I hope that's okay. We had to move it for everybody being here. But if you would, sir, if you would state your name and address for the record, and just so you know how I work here, we don't have a big clock above me, okay? Ideally, if you can keep your comments around 5 minutes, but if you go over a little bit, I'm not going to throw you out. But it'd be respectful there. So please give me our name, address, and then feel free to share with us.
Sure. My name is Glenn Baranowski. I live at 1410 West Martintown Road. I live within 200 feet of this proposed annexation and development. This is my third privileged opportunity to speak in opposition of both the annexation and this development. I'm sorry I missed the first reading. I would have been here for that as well, but I wasn't aware of it. I would just like to say that I believe I'd like to communicate 3 points to you today. First one is relative to safety. You're getting ready to consider annexation of 43 acres, of which only 58% is non-buildable, 42% is approximately buildable, trying to squeeze 157 townhomes into that unit. If you look at the map, which you're not able to see here, you're building or requesting it being built a development on a curve with one entrance and one exit. Even if there's an acceleration or deceleration lane, I feel like the traffic, which will probably be in excess of 300 to 400 cars on that road, will be a safety issue. It's my understanding South Carolina DOT will not entertain a traffic light there due to the proposed increase in traffic. So I would just like to say that that was not built for that particular development. And I would also like to say, having lived there 50 years, except for being in college and one job outside of college, no one goes 50 miles an hour. When they're heading south, they're going fast. When they're coming around the curve now around Ray Brown's new office, equally as fast. You're also entertaining putting an entry and an exit for approximately 400 cars right next to a working farm entrance and exit, which has tractors, silage wagons, hay balers, cattle trailers, and everything. This is, in my opinion, a safety issue that probably has not been fully considered. I don't believe a traffic study has been completed. I know there has been talk of one. Second point, this is a transformational change for this particular rural area. So if you think of the proposal that's before you, as well as some other things that I think are being proposed between here and Plantation and Old Plantation Road, you may be looking at 300 to 500 units in a mile and a quarter in the future. You will be possibly turning Martintown Road into Martintown Townhome Road. Okay? You will quickly become Evans, Georgia. You'll quickly become Lewiston Road. And I don't know anybody that lives there that enjoys what's going on there. So I would say this is a transformational change. It's an opportunity for a gateway into lower Edgefield County that I personally don't think townhome development is the optimal solution for that. So safety is my first point. Second point, transformational change. Third point, I won't get the timing exactly right maybe, but I believe I first came approximately in February, the Planning Commission voted 5-0 to proceed with annexation with a R7 and a R10. It's now been subsequently changed to only R7. Since that time, at the recent Planning Commission in May, I believe there's been reservations of a serious nature about this project. In that meeting, the chair called for a vote to proceed, lots of hesitation. Finally, there was one. Called for a second, silence. Called again for a second. Finally, the newest member of the commission seconded. This only passed the Planning Commission by a 3-2 vote. So in a couple months, based on consideration of the Planning Commission, I believe there's been serious thought and reservations about what's being proposed here and what the impacts may be on the area. So lastly, to just recap, I believe it's the wrong development for the wrong location. I believe it entertains a safety risk. I believe it is going to be too much traffic, all particularly heading south during rush hour. I have not even considered the impact of school buses when you have approximately 154 townhomes being added on 20-some-odd acres. Lastly, I would ask you to entertain what I believe to be is the serious consideration and hesitation of the Planning Commission. I've had individuals that have come up to me and say, hey, I agree with you, I acknowledge your concerns, but have yet to vote with conviction and courage. So I'm asking you to do that. It's too much, too soon, in the wrong area. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I do realize it's a privilege. I don't take it lightly, so thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I heard you when you spoke to the Planning Commission. You were very articulate, very well, and your points are well taken. So you're very polite. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate that. Any other citizen input? Yes, ma'am. Come on down. Same drill. State your name and address for the record, please, ma'am.
Hey, y'all. I'm Brantley Baranowski. I live at 1410 West Martintown Road. Townhomes have their place. No one's denying that. The question here tonight is, do townhomes belong in this place? I grew up here right outside the city limits. I enjoyed a rural upbringing, mostly free from traffic and hustle and bustle. I moved away, I went to college, and now I'm back. The things that I loved back then are the things that drew me back, and they're the things that I still love now. One day I stand to inherit my parents' home across the street from the spot in question. My childhood home was chosen and built carefully by my grandparents on the edge of a family farm. My family didn't choose to live in town or in a big neighborhood. They chose this place because it means something to them. It has years of history, family legacy, not encumbered by developments. They know the families that live around them and the families who lived there before the families that live there now. But beyond that, I think we've come to undervalue untouched land. Call it what you want. You can call it green space. You can call it preserved habitat. It's a buffer from busyness and something we should be more proactive in protecting. It's a gift I don't take for granted and one I think would be a shame to throw away for the sake of profit. I'm not naive enough to think that land should never be sold or resources extracted or potential maximized. It's disheartening to think that we've determined that land has value or is useful only when it's being developed, that growth can only be accomplished by paving over and squeezing in and saying yes to more and more. I personally don't want to have to worry about hundreds of cars turning left onto a busy road to go into town, and I don't want to see accidents and traffic become our normal. I want to see the tradition of a small community built out there live on. I don't want to fight encroachment that tends to eat away at what stood for years before. It's an age-old question. I don't know if what I say here tonight will ever make a difference, and I'm not here to parrot the opinions of my parents or to check some sort of box. I'm here because I care, and I believe in speaking up and making your voice heard. You would probably dismiss me and say I'm old-fashioned and somehow also naive, but I'm not here to deny the challenges of the housing market or finding affordable places to live, because frankly, I'm going through the same thing right now. It's up to the members of this council to determine if this is the right place to meet the demands for increased housing options. I'm a member of a younger generation that will be around to see the effects of development, and I still want to see a couple of things preserved. I'd like to preserve the rural nature of our community and the lifestyle I've been so blessed to enjoy. I'd like to someday raise my own children, Lord willing, in the same community that values simplicity and tradition rather than succumbing to demands of what's bigger, better, faster, newer, shinier. I'd like to say that the city on my mailing address cares as much about its people as its profits and its generations as much as its growth. I appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Council discussion? Comments?
Well, this is the annexation, right?
All this is.
So we annex a property, but they'll have to come back
So
about
we gotta
what-
go through the whole process with
the whole
planning commission.
process again, yeah. So I'm like y'all, I am concerned with that many. I mean, I've had several people, call about this. And is this something we can possibly table and come back to, and let's talk about it our next study session, or?
Well, I mean, it's been approved through the planning commission, and this is the second reading, so I have to ask Mr. Zier that, how we do that process, yeah. And to do that, that takes a first and a second, right? Yeah.
The only thing I wanted to add, I understand where you're coming from. My dad, parents still own some property on Towns Road, so, I understand where y'all are coming from. The only thing I will say is, unfortunately, and you've seen it everywhere in Edgefield County, it's not just North Augusta, it's not just Columbia County. I mean, this area is growing rapidly. Graniteville, Aiken, everywhere. In this case, at least you know what it is. There could be a lot worse things go there, because if we don't annex it, that's all Edgefield County. And then they could decide to do GC, they could decide to do whatever. At least with this, you know what it potentially will be. It's being zoned R7. And like I say, if we don't incorporate it in there, Edgefield County could turn it into GC, or, put a Walmart, fireworks stand. I mean, there are a lot of worse things. I mean, unfortunately, we can't tell people whether they can or can't sell their land. I do understand what you're talking about with the townhomes, but, at the end of the day, I still think it's the lesser of any evil that could come from that land with approximately about 25 acres of it being built on. At least it's went through a planning commission. You kind of know what it is. And I just still state, I mean, there could be, a lot worse things that go there.
Anybody else? Mr. Brooks?
I think the planning commission made some right decisions by moving from R10 back to R7 to protect this property. And I do agree with Eric that that's the best that we can get on that property. And R7 is a very good zone to develop in. And I see no reason to table it. I think we need to move forward.
Anybody else? Mr. McGee?
I would just say that I can sympathize and understand your concerns and worries about the development next to your property. I definitely can understand. We've got a little pocket there that, like Mr. Eric said, it could either end up in Edgefield County's jurisdiction for them to decide what can go there if they end up having to go that route. But I think that with the planning commission and the things that we have in place and a development that we can help make sure that it did change from a 7 to 10, or it went from 10 to 7?
10 to 7.
10 to 7, okay. So that does allow it to have a minimum of 7,000 square feet piece of property that it has to be on. So it's not as dense as it could be. The reality is that we can't tell people what they can and cannot do necessarily with their properties.
So is
Mr. Till?
Edgefield County, it's Edgefield County now, and it's R10 with them, or that, they requested R10 from us, and Planning Commission changed it? Okay.
Mr. Tool?
Yeah, I don't know that I really have anything to add beyond what's already been said. I share the concerns, and I think it's a conversation that we've been having as a city, and it's a continuing conversation we're going to have as we continue to grow. I think we all have made a priority more of infill development than necessarily going outside of the city. But you do have a piece of property that's developable. It still does have to go through the entire approval process with traffic studies and everything else. So this isn't necessarily approving the project as a whole, but it obviously is moving it in that direction. I mean, I'm not going to, not sugarcoat it. I mean, there's certainly, it's giving a pretty good green light on it. But I understand the concerns. I understand the hesitation from the Planning Commission and moving forward on it based on that bigger conversation. I just haven't seen anything presented to me that would prohibit me from moving forward, at least on the zoning. And then we'll see what happens once once the actual plat and everything else, the actual plan goes in front of Planning Commission to see what comes from that.
And I just wanted to say, there's not anything tonight that is going to change my vote, but I do want to say something, Brantley, something you said. Do not think how this votes that we're dismissing you. I'll tell you, our young adults, we need to hear their voice. And what I would ask you is you continue to voice it because you're articulate, your parents brought you up right, you're smart, you have a vision, and a way with words. So I really mean that. Thank you for sharing. And I hope you will continue to voice and be involved, because we need young people like you involved in government and involved in the community. So I hope you will use this as a way to kind of continue push forward, if you would, okay? So with that, if there's no other council discussion, I'm going to ask for a vote. So all in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 8, ordinance number 2022-09, amending Article 13, signs of the North Augusta Development Code, Chapter 18 of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, Code of Ordinance. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on second reading? Okay, Mr. President.
Second.
All right, Mr. Toole, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Moody?
This section of the development code within signs is where we discuss murals and public art. So this particular amendment is to specifically define what murals are, what public art is, and to allow in P zoning, public zoning, whereas it currently is only in downtown. So it expands the number of locations where public art and murals can be placed.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any citizen input? Okay, any council discussion? The only thing I want to say for the folks who are watching, this came about because a gentleman came to us at our public power hour and shared this idea. And it was something we hadn't thought about. And because of that, we were able to take the idea and look at it and work at it. And through the Planning Commission and now we're able to do something to change for the better. So it just goes to show that as citizens, what you say, your ideas can make a difference at times. So I just want you to be aware of that. So with no other discussion, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we're in new business now. Item 9, ordinance number 2022-10 to change the corporate limits of the City of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting annexation by the landowners and annexing plus or minus .25 acres of property located at 205 Thaxton Court and owned by Lucy Joy Investments LLC. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So move.
Mr. Brooks? Ms. Carpenter, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Moody?
Yes, Mayor. This property is being requested for annexation. This is also an R7 small lot, single-family residential lot. As you can see on the map here, we are just tacking on another single-family residential lot to an area that's already contiguous to our community. In this area, over the past few years since I've been here, we have slowly seen a number of lots be annexed in as homes are developed. This is an annexation that is required because these properties will utilize our full utility services.
Very good, thank you. Any citizen comments? All right, any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. I think we're broken a record for the number of resolutions in one night. I mean, we've got a lot of them. All right, so item 10, Parks, Recreation, Tourism, Resolution Number 2022-24, authorizing proceeds from the 2022 North Augusta versus Midland Valley baseball game at SRP Park to be used to purchase new batting cage nets at Riverview Park. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Was that Mr. Presnell? Okay. Second, was that Ms. Carpenter, Mr. McGee? Yeah. Ms. Carpenter, okay. Somebody jumped on it. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mrs. Moody?
Yes, Mayor. This is a resolution that will allow us to spend proceeds from a special event that we had. The city is allowed to host 5 special events at SRP Park, and any revenues that are earned through entry fees also come to the city. So the city traditionally partners with the high school to allow a feature game for baseball. And year over year, since the stadium has been opened, we have recommended the proceeds to go to a project that benefits both the city and the high school. And so I believe it was also last year we used these proceeds to improve the batting cages, and we'll just continue on the path. This is something that's supported by our Parks Department and the high school.
And that was a cool night because the Green Jacks actually honored the 25th anniversary of the 1997 North Augusta High School baseball team that won the state championship. So that was neat. Okay, thank you for that. Any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, on item 11, Councilman McGee will recuse himself on item 11. Do I have a motion to accept this? Oh, might help me if I read the resolution first. Resolution number 2022-25, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of the low bid of Beams Contracting, Inc. for the Riverview Park Walking Trail Resurfacing Project. Do you have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Ms. Carpenter, second is Mr. Brooks. Thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mrs. Moody?
Yes, Mayor. Every year we budget to resurface a portion of our greenway. This year we have 2 sections. We did go out for bid for just one portion of the resurfacing, and this is for the Riverview Park Walking Trail, which is near the ball fields, the baseball and softball fields. One sealed bid was received in response to our RFP. Their bid totaled $138,705. We do have some speculation that maybe only one bid was received just because it's a smaller size of a project in general and smaller than what we normally do. But regardless, we have confidence in the bidder and recommend it for approval.
Okay, very good. Any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? You know, the locals, we like to call it the loop. So I use this all the time, so I'm excited about this. Any council discussion? Okay, at this time I'd ask for a vote then. All in favor? And that is 6-0, 6-1 recuse. So it passes. Thank you. All right. Item 12, resolution number 2022-26. That was 5, not 6. I'm sorry. A resolution authorizing a reallocation of a portion of the funding allocation recommendations of the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee for the disbursement of revenues from the accommodation tax years 2017 and 2018, 2018 and 2019, and 2019 and 2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Okay, Mr. Presnell, second.
Second. Tie. Hey, tie goes to David.
Okay. Goodness gracious, I never heard Mr. Toole talk that loud. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Moody?
Yes, Mayor. What we have here are cost underruns for a variety of projects that were slated to utilize the accommodations tax funding that we received for the tax years that are referenced in the resolution. For a variety of reasons, grantees or projects did not expend all of the funds that they were awarded. And as such, this is really a cleanup. So what this resolution does is two things. It requests council to authorize the remaining funds that need to be spent to be allocated towards the purchase of a mobile stage for our Parks and Recreation Department. And it further has council make a request to the state to allow us to spend these funds even though their period of performance has expired. I'm happy to provide additional information about the stage that we're planning on purchasing if anyone has any questions. And just know that this particular ordinance is just to reallocate the unspent funds towards the stage, request their expenditure even though the period of performance has expired per the state regulations. Most likely in August, we anticipate coming back to council with a resolution to request the full expenditure of funds to purchase the stage.
And because we've got some other sources besides this, that's going to allow us to buy the stage outright, right? 120.
Yes, Mayor. The majority of the funds that we have to purchase the mobile stage do come from multiple years of the accommodations tax revenue. However, our Parks Department has also received in Aiken County a tax grant to contribute towards it, and we have some revenue earned from an event hosted at the amphitheater last year.
Great, very good. Thank you. Any citizen comments? All right, any council discussion?
The only thing I was going to ask is, did we have an idea how much typically it costs for us to rent a stage?
It is, and that's just for Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee. So this stage will allow us to use it not only for Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee, but a variety of other types of events. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but yeah, it's for JOJ especially, it's at least $20,000. So this will help us to reduce the JOJ budget on an annual basis and will allow us to potentially rent out our stage for folks that want to use it in the amphitheater and other locations.
So we can use that in the amphitheater for
Oh,
sure.
most definitely.
And because we want to start getting events hosting again, COVID's over, music, I think. I mean, we'll get our money's worth out.
Oh, precisely. The purchase of the stage really is the definition of how state accommodations tax should be spent. They're 100% tourism focused.
Okay, good question, thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous, thank you. Item 13, Public Services, Resolution Number 2022-27, a resolution accepting a grant award from the Rural Infrastructure Authority. Do you have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Carpenter, thank you. A second?
Second.
Mr. Brooks, thank you, sir. Okay, what would you like to share about that, Ms. Moody?
Thank you, Mayor. This particular resolution, as well as the following resolution, number 14, they do work hand in hand. So with the approval of this, we would hope that you subsequently approve the following resolution. We are thrilled that we're in receipt of a $500,000 grant from the Rural Infrastructure Authority. It's a state grant from state funds. It's highly competitive. They only offer 2 funding rounds per year. We received this funding for the Clay Street Booster Pump Station Upgrade Project. It's a very long title. This allows us to consolidate the two existing Clay Street pump stations that were installed in 1974 and 1988 respectively into one pump station that can be controlled by one tank, and it will update the old equipment to improve reliability and resilience. It'll reduce maintenance and repair costs and be integrated into our SCADA system for remote operation. Currently is manual. Our employees have to arrive on site. So during inclement weather or a major event, our employees would have to put themselves in danger and to arrive on site. It also allows for some hardening of the area around the pump station to increase safety and reduce the likelihood of intrusion by an individual or vehicle, etc. The key piece of this particular resolution, though, is while the grant is $500,000, and we are thrilled for that, the total project will be $3,460,140. So what we are requesting is acceptance of the $500,000 and providing a cash match for the remainder to come from our ARPA or our SLURF funding. That particular approval comes in the following resolution.
And just so people can be clear, we knew about this when we had that initial study session on the ARPA money. We knew we'd be putting a big chunk in several projects, and we knew this would be one of them. So
Yes, Mayor.
to get the grant is just, that's very nice.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a big deal. So James Sutton, they've done a great job with that. All right, any citizen comments? How about council discussion? We all good? All right, at this point, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 14, resolution number 2022-28, a resolution authorizing expenditures of coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. This is expenditure request number 2. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? All right, Mr. Presnell. Second?
Second.
Councilman Tools on top of it. Anything you'd like to share about this that you haven't already shared, Ms. Moody, because it kind of piggybacked off the first one?
That's all right. It does piggyback. Just a couple numbers I want to pick out just so that everyone is aware and tracking. Expenditure request 1 that was already approved totaled $3,965,004 for 2 projects. So this second request is for 1 project, and the total request for expenditure is $3,123,632. This means that we have $4,782,453 remaining of available SLURF funds for future expenditures. And what we've done, just so you know, and just so our residents know, who read our agenda packets and follow up, what we've done is prepared a standard template resolution for all of our SLURF expenditure requests. So most of the body of the resolution will look very similar. And then we'll have the attachment, as Sharon has up on the screen, that will provide additional information about the project. That way, each time you look at an expenditure request, you're looking at the same thing for consistency.
Since it's easy for me to say ARPA than SLURF, they won't take the money back if I keep saying ARPA.
You can call it whatever. I just think SLURF is fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that information. Any citizen comments? How about council discussion? Okay. Now I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. See. Number 15, Engineering and Public Works, resolution number 2022-29, a resolution authorizing a construction contract with Prather Construction Company, Inc., to install a sanitary sewer extension to serve future development upstream of Gregory Landing subdivision. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Carpenter, a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. McGee, thank you, sir. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Moody?
Yes, Mayor, this construction will happen as the Gregory Landing home subdivision is wrapping up with one of its remaining phases. And in discussion, I should say, with the developer and with deference to creating the least amount of impact for current residents of Gregory Landing and future residents who may move into a development on the adjacent parcel, we have determined that now is the best time to construct this line. Traditionally, this is something that the city would do, and we would receive payment in the end from the developer. In this particular situation, it's easier and agreeable to all parties to have the developer and Prather Construction go ahead and perform the work on our behalf. Our city engineer has reviewed all of the plans and agrees with the pricing and fairness. So we will provide the funding for the work to be done, and then a payback mechanism will be developed for the developer to reimburse the city for those costs.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion?
I would say that it probably saves us some money allowing them to do it simultaneously as well.
Most definitely, if not for nothing else but mobilization, and they're already out there.
Save us all the procurement process and everything else too.
Yeah, good point, thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Then I'll ask for a vote, all in favor? That is unanimous, thank you. Okay. Item 16, resolution number 2022-30, a resolution approving the updated annual assessment report and amendment of the assessment roll for the Ballpark Village Municipal Improvement District and confirming the collection of annual assessment therein for the 2021-2022 assessment year. You'll have a motion to approve this resolution.
So move.
Okay, Ms. Carpenter, and Mr. Brooks, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Moody?
Yes, Mayor, I believe it was in February this year, Resolution 2022-06, Council initially approved the annual assessment report. However, subsequent to that, we received information from the county that one of the parcels that's contained within that report was the taxable value was reevaluated and assessed downward. As such, we needed to update our annual assessment report to most accurately reflect the taxable value of the parcel, as well as evaluate whether a mid fee needed to be attached to this particular parcel. In this instance, the parcel previously would not have had a mid fee. Since the valuation has been reduced, this parcel does now require a mid to be paid. So the city will, with approval of this, the city will issue a revised tax bill to the property owner for this parcel.
Thank you for that. Any citizen comments? Council discussion?
Thing, Mayor, on what we got tonight on the very back page, not the back page, second, number 3 on page 2, it said this ordinance shall become effective as the date hereof. That's a resolution. Does that need to say resolution or ordinance? Page 2.
And where are you looking at it?
Number 3.
I know.
Well, final copy. Resolution, right, just that one. Written use.
All right, so what does that mean? I mean, we need to just,
I think it would probably be best just to amend that item 3 there, substituting the resolution.
Resolution.
okay. So we do that by a motion, right? Okay, so I need a motion to amend item on page 2, item 3, to say this resolution, not ordinance, shall become effective as the date hereof, which is be tonight. So
moved.
is there,
Second.
Ms. Carpenter, Mr. Toole, okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Now do I have to do it again now with that? Now to do it again, okay. Yeah, okay, now. So now we've updated that motion. Do you have a motion to approve the resolution which has been updated. All right, Mr. Presnell, a second. Mr. McGee, thank you. Again, any citizen comments? Okay. Any council discussion? Thank you for picking that up, Ms. Carpenter. You're on your toes tonight. Thanks for picking that up. Yep. Okay, and now I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, at this point, Ms. Moody, do we have any administrative reports?
I don't. The only thing I was just looking at is, and you may have this on your notes as well, to mention we won't have another city council meeting until July 18th. Did I get that right? For a regular council meeting.
And that's when we'll have the public power hour at 5:30 on the 18th, yes.
Yes, sir. So we will not have a study session next Monday because the following Monday is July 4th. So the next study session is July 11th. The next council meeting is the 18th.
There'll be one meeting.
One study session. One study session on July 11th, and then one meeting on July 18th. So the next 2 Mondays, there will not be an assembly of council for any type of meeting.
I didn't have that in my notes. I'm glad
Did
you
you?
said
Okay.
that. No, I did not, so thank you.
Okay, good, good.
So you're gonna set a reminder to remind us, right?
Miss Sharon is happy to do that.
Okay, I've only got, so at this point, this is item 18, citizen comments. At this time, citizens may speak to mayor and council regarding any matters not listed on the agenda. Or is there anything that anybody out there would like to come in front of council? We got a couple of folks. Okay, I've just got 2 announcements under my piece. So before I do that, are there any announcements or comments from council?
Well, just a question. I read, it's Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee, and I know I'm way ahead. Is it going to be a one, because people are asking 1 or 2 day affair this year? You know, everybody wanted to just do it 2 days last year.
We have not made the
So that decision has not
announcement.
been made, because where did I read that?
I'm not sure where you,
Met and it talked about 1 day.
I'm not sure where you've
Okay.
read that. We've not made our announcement. In
Okay.
fact, we have a JOJ meeting on Thursday this week.
I think that came from last year with the COVID. I know we had talked about going from 2 to 1, and we hadn't had one in 2 years, so that's probably where it was, is from the last 2 years with COVID and everything.
Okay, all right, anything else?
I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th, since we won't be back until afterwards, so.
Thank you. We'll take that.
Fireworks are coming, folks, so.
Mr.
so you
Brooks,
know.
you got something?
Mr. Neely, can you give us an update on on Dominion street lighting? Okay. Thank you so much.
Very good, thank you.
And I'm sorry, Mayor.
Oh, yes.
For the recording, if you could come down or if someone
Yep,
can.
if you
repeat.
would.
Thank
A
you.
question for him, too.
Scott, if you just give your name and address for the record, and then you can respond to Mr. Brooks' question.
Sure. I'm Scott Neely with Dominion Energy, and our office is at 132 Langley Dam Road in Warrenville.
Mr. Brooks asked you when the status is for the LED lighting, when that would begin, and your response was?
So we anticipate that probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks or so, we'll have crews in North Augusta working, and that's for the LED conversion project.
And y'all are also working on, any idea on the undergrounding of the Bluff Avenue?
Yeah, I don't have that information with me, but we
Okay.
have provided that to
Okay,
Mr.
good.
Caesar
Perfect.
within the last week or so.
Perfect, thank you.
Mr. Neely, before you go, what color temperature will the lights y'all are putting in be? Will they be closer to the 4 or 5K that we have downtown, or is it going back to the traditional kind of?
Yeah, I don't have that with me, but we did provide that to the city, what our color temperature is, and it was not exactly what I think the city asked for. I forget the number, but it was the standard lighting, and it was, my understanding, it was acceptable to the city.
ones that we just did ourselves.
Yeah, I think the ones
I
we've
think
got
it's
are
just like the
probably about
same ones that we did on
6,500.
West and so forth.
Yeah, I hope it's close to
I
it.
think it is.
The lighting we have is sort of standard across our system, so, but we had that back and forth email traffic, and it was, my understanding, it was acceptable to the city. I'm sorry I don't have that.
Oh, no, it's
committed
okay. I
memory.
just,
You
know,
threw you under, we didn't let you know you, thank you, Scott, appreciate it.
leave it to the electrician to
Yep.
ask that question.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm sorry, I said I had nothing, but I have two more things.
You have another question for him?
Yeah,
Stand up here, you can.
yes, stay, and this might be a Rachel question. Someone asked me, and I did ride through the road cutting from Martintown to get to Lowe's, not the one off Knox Avenue, but Martintown Road. It is absolutely, every light is out. And I rode by the other night, and it is very, very dark. And the way that road curves, somebody could run on. Do you know by chance, because they said they've called Dominion, and they said it really, they think it's Lowe's responsibility for those lights. But it is a dangerous situation.
Yeah, I don't know specifically
You have no,
about those
well,
lights.
Rachel, okay.
We do have a system in place with each municipality. If you report lights, we put a service order in and we get those.
Because
repaired.
every light, I mean, not one's out, the whole, it's just pitch black dark, that road. And also, Rachel, thank you, that's all. Rachel,
Thank you, Scott. Yes, ma'am.
action is happening over there on Knox Avenue, and a lot of people are using the Best Friends bus. And Lady at Belk's asked me, who would I contact? I guess Best Friends regarding a little seating booth, because a lot of the patients, a lot of the citizens are seniors, she said, and they're standing out in the heat, waiting on the bus, because a lot of times you have to get there early because you don't want to miss it. So would I contact or the city that they would put like a little shed like
the
with?
lower cog, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and we can get you the contact, when we just, lower cog.
Okay, if you could send that to me, I'll be glad to take care of it, but,
The specific location is in front of Belk's.
right there at, oh God, Diablo, somewhere along in that area. Where
Along
they
the
pick
roadway,
up.
though? Okay.
They pick up in that area, but she said she just sees a lot of little senior citizens standing, waiting on that bus. And if they had a seat with a little shed, and especially if it's raining, a little shed. But I did tell her we supported Best Friends in our budget, so we give that money for our citizens.
Very good, thank you. I just want to remind everybody, Eric talked about 4th of July. The Living History Park is having a big event from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They'll have free hot dogs, watermelons, icy pops, water. They're going to have a dog parade, which I think will be great, so bring your dog down for that. They'll have prizes for the most patriotic dog, stroller, and kids. I'll be reading the Constitution. But anyway, it'll be a fun day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on July the 4th at the Living History Park. And then on July the 8th, the Hamburg Massacre Commemoration Ceremony will be on July the 8th at 6 p.m. at First Providence Church. Dr. Pope, Wayne O'Brien, the committee for the Hamburg-Cartersville African American Heritage District is using this as a way to educate folks about that district, that massacre, as well as also a fundraiser as well. So that's going to be a great opportunity. I think there's events the whole weekend, but that commemorative ceremony is on Friday, July the 8th at 6 p.m. at First Providence Church. So I just want to get that out there since we aren't going to be meeting again. And we'll get something out on that. So that's all I've got. If there's nothing else for the good of the order, we stand done.